Hey there, this is Coach Troy, and for today's video tip, I want to talk about threshold or time trial training for triathletes and road cyclists. Threshold training or time trial training is really important for any athlete who wants to ride faster, especially triathletes or cyclists who are time trialists. In order to become faster, you need to be able to sustain a higher level of output for a longer period of time. And the only way to do that is to incorporate threshold work into your weekly training program. Now, depending on your experience, you might do a threshold workout once a week or maybe even twice a week. But you need to make sure that you do incorporate this kind of session into your routine. Now, the way you determine your threshold is you do a functional threshold test. You can either go to a lab and have it done there, or you can do a basic field test using your power meter to determine your functional threshold power. We even have one of these workouts in Spinterval's 27.0. It's called Threshold Test and Sufferfest, where we actually take you through that benchmark test and then help you determine your different power zones. But essentially, you're going to be training at an effort that's anywhere from 95% to 105% of your functional threshold power, or basically where you're starting to become anaerobic, and it's an effort where you can sustain the effort for an extended period of time, say about an hour, but you're really on the edge to do it. In other words, you're really suffering to do it pretty much the entire time. So when you do your threshold workouts, you want to be training in that range and maybe even a little bit higher so that you improve the body's ability to remove lactate and do all these other important things in order to be able to ride faster for longer. So an example of a really good threshold workout is as follows. First of all, you want to warm up. Typically that'll be anywhere from, say, 20 to 30 minutes. And then you want to do a few openers. In other words, raise your heart rate above lactate threshold heart rate, really put in some hard efforts. And these are only 30 seconds to maybe a minute long efforts. And then you start your threshold set. Earlier in the year, you might only start with, say, 15 to 20 minutes of threshold work. So you might be 2 sets of 10 minutes with, say, a 5-minute recovery between each one, where you let your heart rate get up to and above lactate threshold, like I said, 95% all the way up to 105%, and you just get in that zone, and you hang out there for that 10-minute rep. You recover, and then you do it again. As the season progresses, you can start building the volume of that threshold intensity in your program. And for most age group athletes, I'll have you upwards of anywhere from 40 minutes to maybe even an hour for more advanced athletes. So after that part of the workout's over with, and you can break it up however you want, then you do your cool down and you're done for the day. So it's a really high quality component, but the volume is not incredibly high. Make sure that you get a good recovery workout the day after you do your threshold training, because you're going to need it. And for some people, you're going to need 2 to even 3 recovery days, 48 to 72 hours after an intense threshold training session. But again, the most important thing is to determine what your threshold is so you can start training around that range on those specific threshold days. And one more thing I want to mention. One of the best ways to boost your threshold is to race. Because guess what? When you're racing, you're at threshold and sometimes even higher. So racing is another level of training. It's the best level of training. So that's why you hear a lot of people say they race themselves into shape. They do their threshold work, they do that hard work on race day, and it takes their performance to the very next level. So if you have any questions, please contact me, Troy@CoachTroy.com. Otherwise, until we meet next time, train safe and train smart.